Hey there, welcome back to my channel. So if this is not your first video with me, excuse the new background. I've just been organizing, doing a whole lot of late spring cleaning, and I'm nowhere near done, but I've had to kind of put a bunch of my fragrances in boxes and move them around as I've been cleaning, and I came across so many fragrances that I'd kind of, I don't want to say forgot about, but that I hadn't reached for in a while. And in my kind of cleaning and reorganizing, I noticed 7 in particular that I wanted to chat with you guys about, that I've kind of pulled out to wear some more in the spring and summer, or that I've just kind of missed and haven't reached for. So I thought it'd be interesting. I've done this a couple times now and you guys seem to enjoy it, just kind of shopping my own stash. So yeah, just enjoy the video. If you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get started. So the first one's actually a fragrance that I have been actively not wearing, and it's to make myself like it. Sometimes I do that. So that is L'Aventure Femme by Alhermaine. It's supposed to be a dupe for Aventus for her, and I got this last year sometime, and I never smelled Aventus for her. I had smelled Aventus, but I hadn't smelled Aventus for her, and I'd heard good things, and so I picked it up, and it just was a lot. It really was such a I don't know, I think I was expecting the pineapple to be different, I guess. Like it was really too much for me. It also has a really good lasting power, and I can't believe I just sprayed 3 sprays, I think, because one of the things that really put me off a year ago was that I oversprayed it when I had first unboxed it, and so it really just kind of put me off, and so I'd put it on hold for a long time. I pulled it back after a couple months. It still wasn't the vibe, but recently when I kind of rediscovered it, I wore it with just 1 spray, which was the right move. And I've warmed up to it. It's definitely still not like my favorite or anything, but I think when I first got it, I think I had an expectation that it would be a lot more feminine, and it's not. It's actually very unisex, kind of male leaning. And I genuinely feel like Aventus, the original Aventus, is more unisex to my nose than this Aventus for her in some weird way. It may just be me. I have heard some people say that as well, but so I think that just put me off. You do not want to overspray with this. I definitely have, and I feel like it's gonna hinder me smelling some of the other fragrances as well as I would like. But that's kind of my main advice with this, is if you like Aventus for her, if you like Aventus and you want a good dupe in terms of getting as close as you can for a true fraction of a price, then I recommend it. I mean, it's kind of, you get a lot of bang for your buck, and the performance is 100% there, but be careful and be warned that that is not a fragrance you want to be overspraying. I learned the hard way, and now I feel like in warmer weather, I'm enjoying, this time round, I'm enjoying wearing it a lot more than I did when I first hauled it. So that's the first one. Then we move on to an old love of mine that I wasn't kind of not wearing for a particular reason, and that's At the Barbers by Maison Martin Margiela. This is technically a man's fragrance. It's a very barbershop type scent, but, and I do agree, it's definitely male leaning. I love it. And if you like barbershop type fragrances for you or to smell on a loved one, this is a spectacular one. I've mentioned before in my kind of fragrances that remind me of other places, or some of my other videos where I talk about this, how reminiscent this is of the actual thing it's trying to replicate. So this is kind of from, it says like Madrid 1992, shaving and leathery notes, and it's called At the Barbers. And there was a salon when I was living in Madrid that smells exactly like this. It was like salon slash barbershop. It was for men and women. So I don't know if it was the combination of like the cleaning products and the hair care products and the shaving cream, but it really smelled spectacular, and it's so close to this scent, and that's what really drew me to this the first time I ever smelled it, when it had first come out. So it's kind of like this nostalgic beauty of a fragrance for me. I love it. I always have, and it has shown up a couple times on like discount websites, mainly the ones that, you know, I shop from, that are in the description box below, and you can get it for a deal. I know Father's Day is coming up. I know, you know, maybe a birthday or something's coming up. So even if you don't want to wear it for you, then maybe a male loved one of yours, I think it's a really nice scent. Then I found, and I always forget what this one's called. I think it's, I'll put the name for this one. So this is by Bulgari, and I always forget what it's called, but it's the eau de toilette, and it's something, yeah, you will have seen. This I haven't worn since last spring, summer, because it is very suited to a particular weather and time. I always like to say that you can kind of wear whatever you want, whenever you want, with some exceptions, and this is one of the exceptions. It's a very, very salty fragrance. It's my most salty fragrance. It kind of smells like salty air, and it's aquatic in that it smells like the ocean, I've said, but it doesn't smell like an aquatic fragrance. And it's not like it's not trying to play it safe by bringing in super sweet to kind of counteract the salt, or bring in a lot of florals. Like, I feel like it's really highlighting salt and beeswax. It's a really unique, interesting scent. And this just makes me feel like summertime, but not in like a beachy sunscreen way, in like an actual like beach way. It smells like the beach. So it's also kind of tart, which makes me always like more tart scents I'm more drawn to when it's hot anyways. So yeah, definitely will be wearing that now that it's super warm and throughout the rest of kind of late spring and summer, but I was happy to kind of rediscover that. All right, so the next one is my lovely, I haven't worn this in a while, but I love this scent, and I've actually put a pretty good dent in it because it used to go all the way to the top of these bows, and it's right now kind of here. This is Bonbon or Bonbon, but it's spring summer. I mentioned before that this version, from what I can see and I've read online, only came out to our European market. You might be able to find it online now internationally, but when it was first released, I never found it in Canada or North America really. But on a trip to Portugal, I saw it in a store and I was like, oh my God, I must pick it up. And it's my favorite of this entire range. It's a flanker, obviously, of the original. I just think it's like fruity fragrances done right. There was something so edible about this, and juicy and fruity and fun. Like, it very much smells like its color as well. It smells like fuchsia, pink. This is what I wished, not that they smell similar at all in my opinion, but this is what I would have wished Fantasy by Britney Spears to smell like, for example. This doesn't smell like, I'm not saying it's like a celebrity scented kind of fragrance, or that, I don't want to like diminish it if you don't like celebrity fragrances. I'm a fan of a lot of them, and I'm not a fan of a lot of them, but I hate the way Fantasy smells. I've never really vibed with it, even though I do own it, or I have owned it and I finished it, and now I have Rocker Femme and it smells very similar. But I wished something that was, the way people describe Fantasy is how I feel about this. I think it is so yummy and delicious and pink smelling, and I really, really do like it. And every time I wear this, I'm reminded about how much I love it. I'd been putting it aside and getting distracted with so many other fragrances the past kind of, I guess, fall and winter. But I'm really happy in this like spring cleaning that I kind of discovered it all over again, because I really do like that one. So if you can find it online, or if you live in Europe and can find it in stores, I 100% recommend the Spring Summer Bonbon by Viktor & Rolf. Then we get to Honey by Marc Jacobs. This I've talked of very highly. I'm just spraying everything at this point. I really talked highly of it when I first hauled it. I had very low expectations. Because I've been burned by Marc Jacobs many a time, but B, this entire, I don't know, they're like kitschy, kind of like cutesy bottles have never worked with me scent wise. And I bought this at the same time as Dot, and I really like honey. It smells shampoo-y. It smells kind of like a honey shampoo. It gives me like herbal essences, drugstore shampoo vibes, but I just think it's fun. Like, it's not trying to be anything serious. Obviously, it's not trying to be super niche and sophisticated, but for a fun, girly fragrance, I feel like this is a really nice one to wear out if you're going out with friends, or if you're having brunch, or if you're just hanging out in the spring, summer. I really think it's just fun, and it smells nice, and it has like a touch of cleanness to it without being like a very clean type fragrance, because I know that's not everyone's vibe. So I really, really like that one, and I'm glad to have kind of rediscovered it and shopped my stash to pull that out again. All right, and now the final two are not so much super in season or anything, but they are both fragrances that, again, I discovered in the spring cleaning, so I want to talk about. I'll probably be wearing them definitely, you know, once or twice now, but I don't think I'm gonna be wearing them as much as the other 5 because they're a lot more in season. So the first one's Agent Provocateur's Fatale Intense. This one I think I'll still wear. I've loved this fragrance since I first smelled it. I don't even know where to smell anymore. It is so sexy, and honestly, it is a stronger fragrance, but it lasts horribly, and it sits so close to the skin that it really doesn't matter if it's a stronger scent, because it has like an interesting take to it. I really wish, I don't mind that it sits close to the skin, because I actually think it's a really intimate type scent. I like how close to the skin it sits, and I think it works for it, that it's not a projector. It's perfect. I just wish it lasted longer. I don't want it to have the sillage, but I wish it had the performance. However, because of that, it's kind of like a night in type fragrance, and that can happen any time of the year. So I really do love it. I've recommended it time and time again. I think it's one of my sexiest fragrances, and I like how it's sexy without being sweet or without being too in your face. It's like the most subdued sexy because it's sitting so close to the skin. Someone really has to be quite close to you to smell it, but it is intoxicating. I think it's absolutely intoxicating. And I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again, a good red bottle is like my kryptonite. I die for a good red bottle. So love that one. Glad to have pulled it out again. This is the one that I feel like, and this is the last one, I probably won't wear as much, but it was nice to kind of rediscover it. This is Black Perfecto by La Petite Robe Noire by Guerlain. And this is just, I mean, maybe I'll wear it. It's just a bit strong, and it does last a very long time. Like, I've gone to bed wearing this and then woken up and still could smell it. Obviously very, very lightly, but on my skin and on my clothing. It's very like dark cherry almond leather. So it's just not of this particular weather or season. But what I will say, because I've, you know, as I've rediscovered it, is I think it's kind of slept on, because it's a very inexpensive Guerlain. There's so many of these La Petite Robe Noires that this one kind of just goes under the radar. But if you live in Canada, I will say that sometimes this shows up for a ridiculously good price at Rexall drugstores. I'm sure it comes up online for a really, really good price as well, but that's where I picked mine up several years ago, and it was like under 20. Like, it was such a good deal. And obviously this is a smaller bottle, 30 ml, but still, for a Guerlain fragrance, under 20, it was a really, really good deal. So keep an eye out. They're so cute. I think it's really great, more so for fall and winter. It lasts incredibly long time, and it's a really beautiful fragrance, especially when you consider kind of the house to price ratio. So I hope that was a fun, quick little video for you guys as I'm cleaning and prepping, and I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave me in the comments below any fragrance video ideas that you guys have, or if you've tried any of these fragrances, which ones you've tried or which ones you'd like to try, and I'll see you next time. Bye.